Discover the wonders of a vibrant, contemporary society while taking in this nation's stunning scenery. This airborne tour will show how engineers working on massive projects are changing the country and how archaeologists are unearthing lost riches. This invisible aerial tour reveals how this nation is constructing its future on the pillars of its past, from a billion-dollar proposal to construct the world's largest museum to a new capital city rising out of the desert sands. Greetings from Egypt. The largest Arab population in the world is in Egypt, which covers an area of around 1 million square kilometers. 95% of the population is restricted to the small, fertile strip of land that is fed by the powerful Nile River, while 97% of the country is desert. Egypt's population is predicted to increase by 30% by 2030, to around 130 million people, placing a tremendous strain on the country's housing, energy, and transportation systems. Cairo, the capital of Egypt, will bear the brunt of this change. With a population of 10 million, Cairo is among the world's most crowded cities. 25 million car trips are made by its citizens each day, resulting in extremely high pollution levels and traffic jams during rush hour. Cairo has become so disorganized that it would be impossible to fix everything at once. In order to overcome Egypt's challenging topography and climate, planners have come up with an incredible concept. By building a new metropolis 50 kilometers to the east, in the middle of the desert, they hope to alleviate the pressure on Cairo. Africa's biggest building site is visible from above, Egypt's unnamed new capital city, which is expected to house 6.5 million people. At 700 square kilometers, this $300 billion project is 30% bigger than Cairo as it is today. Its transportation infrastructure has received particular attention. Congestion will be reduced by hundreds of kilometers of roadways and 2 new metro lines. Water from the Nile will be transported to the new metropolis via a 40-kilometer subterranean conduit. The administrative center of Egypt will be the new capital. In addition to providing homes for government workers, the government has set aside $30 billion to move 36 ministries here. Critics counter that most inhabitants will not be able to afford the dwellings in the new capital. Engineer Ahmed Rifat's day has barely begun at 8 a.m., while the night shift employees are leaving for their homes. When I first arrived here, there was nothing but sand, he relates. Ahmed is assisting with the construction of Egypt's new parliament building, which will house 596 lawmakers. Teams like his are working around the clock to finish this enormous job on time. Ahmed's team needs to use 9 cranes to lift thousands of tons of material today so that the 35-meter-tall roof structure of the building is prepared for concrete pouring by noon. I often wonder what this new capital will look like 20 or 30 years from now and what role I played in its creation, he continues. There have been previous changes to Egypt's capital. The title was held by a number of places prior to Cairo, which has been the capital for a millennium. Thebes was the most potent of these. Buried 650 kilometers south of Cairo in the Luxor region are the ruins of this 4,000-year-old metropolis. Karnak, the biggest temple complex constructed by the ancient Egyptians, is located at its heart. The size of Karnak is revealed from the air. It is the size of 140 football fields and was enlarged by 30 pharaohs. The hypostyle hall, which has 134 tall sandstone columns, is at its center. Working here fulfills a lifelong passion for French archaeologist Benjamin Darron. As a child, when I first visited Karnak, I felt I was touching ancient history, he recalls. I never imagined I'd one day work here. Benjamin is looking into Karnak's fate following the end of the pharaonic period. With a duration of about 2,000 years, Karnak was one of the most extensive architectural endeavors in history. In 30 BCE, Rome's Octavian deposed Egypt's last pharaoh, Cleopatra, ushering in more than 600 years of Roman domination. The prominence of Egypt's ancient religion declined by the 4th century when Rome embraced Christianity. An innovative discovery has been uncovered by Benjamin's team, a 4th century CE jar stand featuring a Christian cross. This implies that with the fall of the pharaohs, portions of the temple were converted for Christian worship. It was like a scene from a movie, Benjamin remembers. We were brushing the floor when we first uncovered the cross. These findings illuminate the obscure periods of Karnak's lengthy history and imply that there are still a lot of mysteries concealed within the temple. It might take centuries for archaeologists to solve all of its riddles. The Egyptian Museum in Cairo, which has the biggest collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts in the world, features many of the treasures discovered in Karnak. Regretfully, the museum has exceeded its space and is not equipped with the necessary technologies to adequately preserve these valuable artifacts. In order to solve this, Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities is building a cutting-edge museum within 2 kilometers from the famous Giza Plateau. This enormous $1 billion project, which started in 2002 and covers 500,000 square meters, will become one of the biggest museums in the world and preserve Egypt's history for future generations. The Grand Egyptian Museum, GEM, is expected to develop into a colossal tribute to Egypt's rich cultural legacy and a wonder of contemporary engineering. When finished, this enormous building will have climate-controlled galleries with artifacts from more than 7,000 years of Egyptian history. Inspired by the adjacent pyramids, which are only 2 kilometers away, the museum's triangular grid architecture was created by the team of engineer Shadi Ahmed. Triangular patterns are used throughout the building, reflecting the magnificence of ancient Egypt in every way. The museum's conservation facility has already started up, carefully preserving antiquated treasures for upcoming generations. To guarantee that their stories endure for decades, experts are restoring these precious artifacts. This enormous undertaking is thought to be among the world's most ambitious building projects. At the same time, archaeologists are solving puzzles close to the Great Sphinx's location on the Giza Plateau. The Sphinx, a huge monolith made of natural rock that is 70 meters long and 20 meters high, has long been a representation of the magnificence of ancient Egypt. According to scholars like Mark Lehner, the Sphinx symbolizes the visage of the 4,500-year-old pharaoh Khafra. Its creation, which combined supernatural might and human understanding, is regarded as a major departure from Egyptian artistic traditions. Egypt's change, however, extends beyond its ancient structures. Egypt's modern perspective is exemplified by projects like the opulent resort of El Gouna along the Red Sea. El Gouna, which was formerly a desolate desert, today draws thousands of visitors thanks to its man-made lagoons, opulent houses, and constant sunshine. Despite worries about possible negative effects on the ecology and economic dangers brought on by political unrest, developers like George Aliyah are changing the shoreline to make room for 25,000 people. To preserve Egypt's natural treasures, environmentalists are also putting up endless effort. Khalid Hamid and his diving crew at Dahab are fighting marine pollution, particularly plastic debris that endangers the Red Sea's fragile coral reefs. These reefs are among the world's most biodiverse ecosystems, supporting 1,200 fish species and more than 300 coral types. To protect these underwater riches for future generations, the divers gather plastic garbage. Researchers at Wadi al-Hitan, Valley of the Whales, in the western desert of Egypt examine ancient marine fossils. This area was covered by a huge sea millions of years ago. The fossilized remains of early whales are now housed there, providing crucial information about the evolution of marine mammals. Regarding electricity, Egypt is constructing the biggest wind farm in the Middle East by utilizing the strength of its deserts. The 580 megawatts of energy produced by this 100 square kilometer complex is sufficient to power 500,000 houses. Although maintaining turbines in the harsh desert environment has special obstacles, engineers like Ahmed Mahdi play a crucial role in advancing Egypt's renewable energy objectives. Lastly, the Siwa Oasis, which lies close to the Libyan border, is evidence of Egypt's agricultural tenacity. This lush paradise, home to more than 700,000 date palms, continues to be a vital hub for date production. Using traditional methods, farmers like Mohammed Edmi are still harvesting this historic crop, blending heritage with contemporary business. Egypt is a land of contrasts that skillfully combines its historic heritage with contemporary developments to guarantee that its economic, cultural, and environmental assets are conserved and appreciated for many years to come. This story effectively captures Egypt's fusion of ancient culture with contemporary advancement, demonstrating how its citizens uphold their rich past while advancing in the 21st century. The narrative demonstrates resilience and flexibility by fusing modern industry advancements with traditional livelihoods like date farming. Previously reliant on erratic local market pricing, farmers like Mohammed now enjoy the advantages of manufacturing systems that guarantee prompt payment and prospects for international exports. In addition to securing their revenue, this enables them to bargain for lower pricing in future seasons depending on demand and quality. Events like the Grand Pharaonic Race, a 100-kilometer ultramarathon based on hieroglyphic records of ancient desert competitions, help Egypt preserve its ageless customs. Athletes like Mahmoud His combine contemporary endurance sports with respect for the past, embodying the spirit of their predecessors. Mahmoud's victory, which broke the ancient time standard as well as his own personal record, is a testament to the tenacity, resolve, and communal joy that endure. The images of runners passing famous pyramids, cutting-edge engineering projects sculpting the desert, and new museums preserving Egypt's legacy represent the peaceful cohabitation of the country's past and future. Egypt continues to be a location where history is not only preserved but also actively inspires its citizens and helps to create a bright future that the rest of the world can see.